Hey guys, and welcome back to another Star-Made Ship Showcase. I am your host, Sledge, and we're going to take a look at a ship I've been teasing at for a little while now. This is the Sledge. So, this is my industrial, multi-purpose vehicle, with its primary purpose right now being that it is a cargo vessel, specifically for dropping off and delivering cargo around the galaxy. This thing has just been recolored. It used to sport a brown paint and now is obviously green and orange to suit the Atlas Mining Group's color scheme. So as you can see, it's fairly small as far as the ship goes. It's not a big monstrosity, but it is quite agile. It's quite able to get around, and it's got these beautiful little pods right here that it takes around its cargo in. I'll show you how that works in just a moment, but let's just take a time to appreciate the exterior here, and then before we go back into the inside. So, as you can see, you got the doors on the side, very similar to the Dredge, and on the front here, you got this like multi-visored cockpit window, and in there is the bridge. That's the cockpit in there. I've added a few small features like this here, this tow bar pull, I guess you could call it like a tether, which allows you to hook up to and dock other ships to you, so you can almost be like a bit of a tugboat as well, to tug bigger ships around if you had to. You've got another entrance on this opposite side here, and you've got a whole bunch of fancy blinking lights in there as well. I've replaced the turrets on the top with those of my anti-missile turrets, as this is a non-combat vessel, but some AMS turrets are always a good idea. Keep those flat cannons from to keep those missiles down by keeping those flat cannons ready. So we're gonna get out of the core now, and we're gonna just jump into the. Let me just jump out of the core. Oop. Jump out of the core. So here we are in the cockpit, and yeah, just got a lovely view out the front here. We got a couple of buttons on here. This button here just simply, there you go, it turns the light from white to red, from normal mode to emergency mode, for no real reason. I just thought it was a bit of fun. Right here you got a button. All that does is it it actually triggers the clock to turn on the blinking lights. So if you hit it too many times, sometimes you'll end up with a much faster sequence, but it's just there in case when you spawn it in, that blinking lights decides it doesn't want to work straight away. You got the faction module here, and you've got the radar jammer. You've got some display modules in here with a bit of meta in there from a friend of mine who I built this while playing with. You got some consoles in here, and this is something that I'm actually quite proud of. This interior on this ship is actually one of the ships I'm most proud of, and I'll show you why in just a moment, because it's a pretty simple interior in here, but all these doors are automatic and railed. I think there's only a few doors in this station, ship that aren't automatic. So you got this room up in here, some bunks in here, so there's one bunk missing because you can put more bunks in if you need to, and this is not a people moving vessel. This is to really only to have maybe one or two crew members max. It's sort of like a big rig where you have a bunch of people. We have just one guy carrying around a bunch of cargo, and he can take people with him. There is room, I guess. So this door here opens you into the hallway down. This isn't automatic. This will need to be manually closed, as it's a bit of a bulkhead door. It's not meant to be opened all the time, but down this aisle here you'll see that you've got the access to the cargo crates that are actually part of those pods on the outside. So right now we're down the center of the ship. So yeah, the pretty easy access. So I'll show you what's the use of this. I've got some display modules so you can kind of keep a record of what you've got in what. But yeah, so they are. I will explain. It's a bit hard to explain while I'm walking around the ship, but you'll see this in soon. What I'm talking about is that the cargo ship, the cargo pods on the outside, they will be able to be launched off individually upon making your rounds. Sort of like, think of it like you're the paper boy and you're throwing around papers under the neighbors' lawns and once I get back in the cockpit, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we step out into this elevator here, and we head back up to now we're just above the middle part of that spine where all those windows were. And yeah, so the elevator, it stops there, and you got a button to call out on this side. And yeah, you can stick your head out the window, have a bit of look at what's going on outside, and you can head down this hallway into the very end, and you press this button. And if this is your ship and you're the delivery guy, this is your main room. This is where you get to spend and chill out and spend the majority of your time while you're not working. So yeah, I guess if you're decided to go for a few trips around the galaxy delivering a bunch of resources to those who have placed orders, you can decide, I guess, dock yourself up to a depot that already has someone using the master bedroom, and you've already got your own bedroom in here, so that's all nice. So I have obviously gotten this set so it does sync up nicely to the station so that I have built already for Atlas. So we're going to head back towards the interior, the main interior, and we're not going to jump straight in the core yet because there's still a little bit more interior to explore. This is such a small ship, but I've got a lot of interior inside of it because it's a very, very role-play ship. So as you can see, I just took the elevator down. That flaw was an elevator, not just a flaw, which is pretty obvious with the shading difference. But yeah, let's continue on. So we step down here, and we're just walking past the cargo hold, where the majority of the cargo that isn't being transported for the delivery. So this, I guess, is where if you were taking shipments, or you're picking up shipments and you're just loading them straight into the ship, you'd load all your cargo into here, and then away you go. So around the corner here, up around here, this is your bathroom. There's no door here because it's really only designed for one person at a time. And I kind of had to ad hoc it in here because I'm sitting here thinking, what is this ship missing? You know what it's missing? It's missing its dunny. It's missing the shitta. It needs somewhere where your delivery guy can, go relieve himself if he has to. So stepping down here onto the cargo hold floor, you got this big laser grid door here, followed by some hazard stripes because this is actually on the outside. That is actually a hangar bay door or the cargo hold door. So you press that button, the doors open up. You press it again, the doors close up, and the laser grid, the force field, goes back up again. So you got a cargo here which connects up to a bunch of cargo that's on these two platforms. And let's just go up the other side now. We've got one plex door here, and in here is a medical office if you just need to heal up. So it's a bit of a med bay for medical resources and stuff. I had an empty space there, so I filled it with that. So along this way, you've got a ladder that you climb up, and here we are on the opposite side of the entrance now. So this is the opposite entrance. You obviously want to use the other entrance more often, but this is the other entrance if necessary. So let's jump back down, and away we go. So we're gonna go all the way back up now to the core and jump inside that core, and I'll show you guys a little bit of something, what I'm talking about with the delivery system that I've got set up. It's a pretty primitive delivery system. We got a little balcony up here as well, which you take the ladder up to get up to and look at that window. So it's a pretty primitive delivery system, but I think it's quite efficient for what we want to do. And it's simply the fact is, if someone orders a whole bunch of, let's say they order a whole bunch of Ferdikine from us, or if we needed to go deliver a bunch of Ferdikine as per request of a trading agreement, all you do is you fly past this sector, do a bit of a twirl, of course. Obviously, you can see the back engine here lights up with thrust, which is quite nice. Really like the addition of that to the game. Thanks a lot, Shine. That was awesome. So you get your blinking lights going along the side there. See, I've got two blinking lights now because you press that button and it inputs one more blinking light into the circuit. And yeah, so if you only want one, you want two, just make sure you press that button as much as you like. So let's just use this shop over here as an example. Let's add it over there. Let's turn the HUD on because we're gonna need that. Fly back over to. Hopefully this isn't gonna take us too close to that sun. Sun looks pretty close. No, we're way far away from that sun. It's just a very big sun. So we're gonna scoot up on next to this here shop, and we're gonna bring it to a stop. And here's how it works. So we want to drop off one of our pods. We're gonna drop off, as you can see down here, and we want to drop off the port side forward crate, which if we just jump into camera mode, you can see the port side, which is port is to your left. So easy way to remember that if you're not up to date with like nautical stuff is that port. The easy way to remember which side is port is there is no port left. You know, like the port wine is something I was taught when I was young. Just to remember which side of the ship is port side. So port side's always to your left, facing the front of the ship, of course. And if we want to launch the forward port side crate, and what we do is we click this button, it launches out that forward side crate, and that is a weird bug there. I don't know why that is, but it resets the camera angle. You throw that into their space, preferably at their station, and preferably in a way that they're ready to recognize that they're ready to pick that up. And once you've made your round, you can fly on to your next destination. Now, you can set this up as a fleet and auto that to carrier recall if you like, but the idea is you kind of like drop off the cargo pod, and especially when the person dropping it off for is not online, so you can just drop it off, fly off to your next destination, and drop off your next delivery. And the cargo pods are fairly easy to recreate. Shipyard, not a lot of resources necessary. So it's not a huge loss losing one of those. And they don't constantly keep flying off into the distance. They've got a very small amount of speed to them. And if you like, just turn your Newtonian thrusters off. Put those dampeners on them is what I mean to say. So yeah, and that's effectively it, guys. This has been the Sledge, the utility delivery vehicle or spaceship that we have for the Atlas faction, or at least will have soon, because I've just finished doing the updates on this to make it faction ready. And I'm going to have a bunch of these loaded into the game. A lot of them will spend their times at Surge Guard Station, and ultimately I'll just use them to make the rounds to different stations. I'll essentially drop off a pod to a location, and if that person wants something, they can put the stuff into the pod, maybe like credits and stuff, and I can come pick it up with an order. And yeah, maybe I can even make some sort of like loading system like I've seen other people do, like Jace Machine and some other guys. This guy, there's one that's completely skipping my mind right now. I feel really bad because he is a really good watcher of mine. Oh god, I cannot remember for the life of me. Let me just find out right now. I'm kind of searching the internet right now, guys, trying to remember what's the name of this guy. I'm gonna feel really dumb because I'm just having a huge mental. There we go, Lens Cap. All right, geez, I feel really dumb now. That's a really obvious name to remember. Lens Cap is an amazing guy at doing this. He does some really cool stuff with logic and pickup rails and cargo pods, and honestly some of the stuff he does is some of the coolest I've seen. So kudos and a shout out to LensCap, because he has been giving me a shout out in some of my videos lately, so really cool to see that. Thanks, man. And yeah, so this has been the Atlas utility vehicle Sledge. And this is Surge. If you like the video, leave a like. If you dislike the video, leave a dislike, because yeah, that's an option. And if you're just swinging by, you've just found my channel, subscribe if you like my content, because there's only going to be more of this. And the more subscribers I have, the more happy it makes me, and the more happy I am, the more excited I am about making these videos. So guys, if you have any questions about the Sledge, put them down in the comments below. If you'd like to get a copy of the ship, I'm afraid that won't happen until we've done our use on the server. But keep an eye out for it in the future, as it's likely going to go up onto the dock sometime soon. So anyway, guys, this is it. And if you have any questions, I just told you that. Yeah, this is Surge signing out.